Please pay attention to the screen. Now just go within yourself and see how it makes you feel. So I'll be changing a few slides and we'll be playing a game. Okay. The game is, which slide do you prefer the most? Let's go to the next one. There's a second one. Next one. Third one. Next. Now let's go back again. Slowly. One at a time. This is the green one. Then we'll go back to the red one and again the blue one. Did you pick your favorite? Right? Now let me ask you a question. Like, for example, what was your favorite?
The orange one was a little soothing to the eyes.
Green. How about you, sir?
Blue one.
Why?
It resembles my company's logo, and most of the time what I see, maybe Facebook or something.
Okay, that's the reason. Okay. And does the word have some association with the color? Okay, no. Well, how about you, sir?
I like the red one more
I don't know. Why is that?
because the color makes me take actions based on the word that is presented on the screen.
We have different tastes. Now let's go to the fifth slide. So what I'm trying to pitch forward is the process of change. Change is something which is very personal to us. And what happens is that the way you accept, reject, or are afraid of change is very different from person to person. And also depending on the person, on the change. So with that being said, I'll try to break down why the biggest problem or the resistance comes when you're trying to create change. Right? So it will be easier if someone accepts change. That is the easiest part. But the most difficult part is when someone doesn't want change, but you want to introduce the change. With that being said, I'll be sharing three different contexts. One is when you're changing something in yourself, which might be the easiest one. Then you're trying to influence your friends or family to make a change. That's a little bit higher. And the most difficult one is the organizational change. So I'll share my personal examples here, and that will build the context, and then we can move forward from there. Right? First and foremost, let me give you an example of a change that I want to personally make. So recently I've noticed that I am sleeping really late in the night. Right? That is having a really bad impact in my the way I get up in the morning. It's affecting my mood. My timelines have just gone out of the bed. That is the first context. Okay. The second context is like friends or family. So I'll share an incident. A while back, I wanted to close this habit of having dinner in my family. So I didn't want them to have dinner because it had a lot of good benefits in terms of Ayurvedic benefits. It makes you leaner, it reduces other ill effects like which comes with gaining weight and obesity and all that stuff. And finally, with respect to organization, if you may or may not know, I mostly have been working with EPCs, oil and gas companies. So there is always, if you introduce something new, a revolutionary product you might come up with, but the ground level people, they'll always hate it. Right? Now let's look at like why this happens. Right? Why this big resistance, big hate towards change. We'll go to the next slide and we'll try to discover that. There's a principle of pain versus pleasure. You see the two graphs? Which one is taller?
Pain from loss.
Pain from loss versus pleasure from pain, right? So we always talk about people want to succeed. You want to give them the weight of success. But is that what most people want? I don't think so. What people mostly want is not to fail. So if you want to reduce the risk of change, what would you do then? Would you give them the carrot of success, or would you reduce the stick of failure? Anyone? How about you?
Carrot of success.
You give them the carrot of success. The research says otherwise. So for most people, the intent is that the high of success works only for a few people. For the majority of the audience, they just don't want to fail. So you want to reduce the risk of failure. Once you reduce that, the fear drops down. That is the basic thing. This is the first principle. Now we will be diving deeper into the second one. Let's do the next one. Can you distinguish in between these zebras? You cannot, right? Why is that? This is how we also want to be. We don't want to become the spotlight. Because once you become the spotlight, the lions will come chasing down on you. That's why people want to disappear. So whenever you put spotlight on people, is when people become fearful. For example, if I was to point out like my mom, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to eat at night, it's affecting your health. Now I'm putting a spotlight on her, and that is increasing her fear. Similarly for an organization. So I come into the organization, I say, okay, I'll be monitoring your each and every movement. What is that going to do to them? Exactly. Now let's look at the third principle. Now, the third principle is, why do you have fear? Because you do not know what you're doing and what the change entails for you. But once you know what exactly is going to change and what is not going to change, you live much more comfortable. And that is where these questions arise. What is it in for me? What are we why are we doing this? How do we get there? Do I want this? It's all about giving them ample information of what is there and what is not. Let's move to the next one. Now this is a journey of a typical change. So initially you'll see people will be very anxious because they don't have any information. Now you'll pump them up, so they'll be a little bit excited, maybe something new is going to happen. But once they start going through, the fear will kick in. Okay, now I get spotlighted, or I don't have information, I'm not competent enough. It's all about getting highlighted. Maybe I lose my position, my job, and slowly they'll come down to depression. But once you start holding their hands and pushing them forward, you'll start going towards the better path and then making that big change. Now, finally, I'll give you a propose a model. How do you entail and make this change happen? So it's a 4-step plan. First, we talked about the communication plan. It is about informing, like what is there and what is not going to happen. You have to be very specific about it. If you don't tell them what is not and what is there will be always be questions. That is the awareness part. You hear and understand, answer the question. Next is nurturing and training. Now, okay, I'm ready to change, but I don't know how. It's unknown. I need to guide them. Either we need to nudge them, we need to train them, we need to take them through the journey. So that is the nudging part. Then, now they have gotten a little bit experience. Now they just need to do it a few more times so that they get used to it and the change becomes normal. That is the reinforcement part. And once that has happened, now you check with them once in a while to see if anything specific needs to be worked on and make the sustenance of that. So this is what my understanding has been about change. So in essence, if you want to take one thing away from this whole presentation, is that change is about reducing the fear in a person. I do that by giving them ample information and taking them through a journey and holding them through a process. So with that being said, I will be closing my presentation.